All right, hello everyone. Hope you all are doing well. We got an awesome webinar tonight. We're going to go over the booklet campaign. And many of you have been doing that, and we've had some really good success with this. So I'm glad you're on board. Everybody, get ready to take some notes here. And I'll give you an updated checklist also for the booklet, a couple of different samples of the booklet, and how and where you can use it. So now several of you I've been on some recent strategy calls with, and you already have that. We've already gone over this, but I'm going to go ahead and make sure Beverly sends it out fresh tomorrow, all the latest information, because there's some new things that we can have you do also with the booklet. So in any case, so welcome aboard everybody. If you wouldn't mind, just shoot me a quick chat in your chat box there, and I'm going to open it up to everybody, all panelists and attendees, and let's check the attendee list here. Hey Betty, how you doing? Hey Betty, I might actually bring you up as an example tonight. How about that? Because you're one of the more recent ones who've used the booklet with some great responses and success. So I appreciate you doing that. If you don't mind sharing it. So hey Tanya, Vincent, good to see you, buddy. Glad you're on board. I spoke to Julian earlier from your market center. Let's see, Doug and Gwen, also very recent strategy call. There's Julian right there. Hey, Julian. So Julian, you're in with a good crowd tonight. Okay. Some of these folks are literally just getting these things started too. And I think it's going to be pretty inspiring for you to hear and see what they're doing. And we'll share. I'll bring up some examples of other booklets for engineers, dentists, and things like that. Augustin, how you doing, buddy? Boy, I hadn't seen you for a while. Good to see you. So let me check the attendee list real quick, and we'll get started on the content. So Betty, Augustine, Chris, is always good to see you, Betty. I know things are really clamping down out there in Cali. I don't know if you ever met, I think you may have met Shannon Goldsmith last year when we had a 3-day event. She sat literally right directly in front of you, Chris. She's we know what's happening out there, and it's the same thing everywhere, but there's so many more people in California. Anybody that's not been to like the LA area, it's just, there's so many people, it's crazy. Chris, good to see you, buddy. All right. Dana Truman. Hey, Dana. Give me a call, probably not tomorrow, Dana, but if you're free on Saturday. I was speaking with a couple other folks, actually on the call. Louis on the call tonight about what we're talking about. I'll fill you in later on what we're doing on that. But also, Dana, I want to have you get this information too. I know you're one of the most senior veterans here in the program, going back like 5 years. So I want to get you all the latest updated stuff so you can use this, where people are using a booklet campaign on their own database, and we're getting some pretty awesome results here. So in any case, Doug, Carrie, boy, Carrie, good to see you too. All right, Luann, Nicole, all right, Tanya, Toder, good to see you, Toder. Boy, we got a house full tonight. Yuma, good to see you too. All right, we got Houston in the house. Bill Gilmore, good to see you, buddy. I tell you what, this is awesome. I'm glad all you guys are on here. This was a pretty good crowd. So let's do this. We are live and recording. Quick housekeeping for everyone who's new to this, and maybe it's your first webinar. Obviously it's live, and obviously it's totally unscripted. I mean, it's prepared. I've got some prepared content for you, but it is definitely all about you. So I'm looking at you directly because I want you to participate, raise your hands, ask questions. Use the chat box for posting the questions. If you could do that, that would be great. From time to time, I will unmute you, and we'll have some verbal dialogue. Everybody will be able to hear it and all that. It is absolutely being recorded. So look for the email tomorrow with the recording, and also look for further instructions from Beverly. Seems like there's always something scheduling or what have you. We're getting a lot of classes getting scheduled in May, which is really kind of crazy, but that's what I think people are finally realizing. Man, the name of the game is you gotta get in the game and swing the bat. You never know what pitch you're going to hit. That's why we swing the bat, right? So I know some of you are getting some results here recently too, and it's because you're doing stuff, you're taking action. So in any case, let's do this. That's pretty much the housekeeping. Just read through the email for Beverly, look for the updates, information, stuff like that. Definitely set up strategy call with me. There's no better time than now, guys. I mean, I'm still teaching. It's just I'm This is my mother's rocking chair, by the way, that she rocked me in when I was a toddler. If you can imagine that. So I don't have to drive anywhere, don't have to fly anywhere. So I got more free time, and I didn't free up last Saturday. Also, I don't know if I got hours out for this Saturday. I'm not sure. I got some a lot of internal work to do too. But in any case, I'll keep putting hours out there. You know, do the exercises, do the activities I give you, and then keep following up. Sometimes we've got to tweak these booklets once or twice before you send them out. And I'll give you some other examples of others who've done these across the country, or US and Canada, excuse me. So in any case, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it. If you do have questions right off the bat, it will be a good time to type them in. Otherwise, I'm going to focus 100% on the booklet tonight. Let's see, Mike Gons, hopefully you're on, because that was another good call we had. I don't see you on here, Mike, but in any case, you'll get the recording regardless. So first things first, let's jump into the checklist for the booklet. All right, so this is an older version. It's being updated right now. Okay, you'll see in here there's some stuff in there that you're going to have to do yourself. Okay, I wish I could do everything for you, but the way this works is, you know, you got to meet me halfway. So I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give you what to do. I'm going to show you how to do it, and then you just have to do it. Okay, and when you start getting calls, obviously you'll want to probably talk to me again, and we'll have that conversation. Okay, so first things first, just to clear the air here. Typically, yes, the booklet is being used to send out in the mail. Okay, it's direct response marketing being sent in the mail to generate cold traffic. Okay, that's typically how we do this. Now, from time to time in the past, some of you notice I would say, well, I want you to use it on your existing database first, if you're like a new agent or you haven't done this kind of thing before. Well, now that exception is now the rule. So for Mike, for example, the question was, okay, I want to send this out. I like the niche marketing example. I'll choose electrical engineers, for example. For right now, guys, what I want you to do is, if you have not done the booklet, so Tanya, if you haven't done the booklet lately, I want you to send it to your database, okay? Now, there's two ways to go about doing this. Option A is going through your database, and we went over this last week briefly, going through your database, adding a custom field. You know how in Command you can add a custom field, and segment your database, non-investors and investors. In that category field called the investor field, you'll put in there yes or no, or maybe a ranking 1 to 10, 1 being not really likely to want to invest, 10 being highly likely to want to invest. Okay, you can even break it down by sub-segments. So within the investor segment, you can have flipper, you can have landlord, you can have landlords buy rentals, that is, you can have wholesaler. Okay, and if you do property management like me, you can have a property management indicator, although that technically should have its own database. Then you only send the booklet to the 8s, 9s, and 10s, or people you've identified as wanting to be a flipper, wanting to be a landlord, that kind of thing. Now, just hold that thought off to the side. What I'm going to do tonight is focus you on your current existing database and do what's called shaking the tree. You're going to literally send this booklet out to everybody. And Betty's the most recent one who just did that, Betty Kappa. Okay, most recent example. So, and she, by the way, Betty, correct me if I'm wrong, I think you got 15 responses out of 290 sends, that's good. That's great. It's over 5%, slightly over 5%. One person ended up being like a good new lead. I think 2 others you're already working with. And then there was one person that said he's just out of the game. And then the others would be what we call nurturing prospects that you're going to nurture. And I'll go over that tonight also. So bottom line is Betty got 1 potential deal out of this. One new lead she's got to go through the work and now get in the property. And then, in other words, they're ready now, right? We call that ready, willing, able now, low hanging fruit. And the other 12 will nurture over the next 12 weeks, okay? And out of that 12, it might take 4 weeks, might take 6 weeks. They'll start to gradually come forward and want to also be in the game. So this is why we love shaking the tree. It also helps you get a pretty good idea who's paying attention to you. So what I'm going to do tonight is focus on shaking the tree. So I want you to create the booklet. Okay, tomorrow when you get the email from Beverly, it's going to contain the Word document for the booklet. It'll contain this checklist. It'll contain a written description. There's a recording on how to do the booklet. You'll get that too. And the written version of that recording. So you literally have everything you need to do the booklet. And the other cool thing about this booklet is it doesn't require you to know a lot of the different tools and websites and things like that in your area. I was just talking to Julian earlier. And Florida is one of the easier states to do research in because the data is so freely available and it's all public information. Unlike Chris in out in LA or Louis up in Toronto, we've got to jump through some hoops and sometimes pay, like a Rebo Gateway, for example, to gather public data for us. Okay, but in states like Texas is weird. Texas is obviously, typically conservative and very open with their data, except for certain cases. Okay, it's technically a non-disclosure state. Texas is a non-disclosure state. Go figure. In any case, back to this. Let's assume for the moment you're all going to send your booklet out to your database, okay? And not everybody is going to respond to you, and that's okay. I would expect about a 5% response rate, and that's exactly where Betty was, okay? If you get more, that's even better, but don't be surprised if most people don't respond. Now, this is just a first iteration, so let me go through this first iteration, then I'll show you what to do next, okay? So the first thing is get the booklet. Beverly's going to send it to you, but just for grins, let me show you where you can get this on your own. So I'm going to go to Real Estate with Gary Wilson. Let me do a share on this. Hang on one second, guys. Let's do share on this. You know what? I just realized I didn't share the checklist with you. I'll share the checklist with you in a second. I'll keep you in suspense. How about that? So to get the actual Word document itself, go to the members area. So Julian, this is for you, buddy, right? Go to realestatewithgarywilson.com, click on members area. On the left-hand side, you got to click on silver level. All of us are all silver, right? Click on that, log in, of course. And got to go through some hoops here. Got to get on the dashboard, go to silver level, scroll down, and where it says marketing, click on that. Okay, click on that. And where it says here investor booklet doc, click on that. So let me do a quick check on the chat here, guys. So let me know, first let me bring up the booklet. Hang on one second. So I'm going to open this up and I'm going to share that with you. New share. Oops. You share a booklet. Okay, so somebody, Dana, if you wouldn't mind, Dana, just type in your chat box, let me know that you can see this booklet where it starts off saying where their smart money is. If you could give me a quick feedback there, that would be awesome. Okay, let's see, can see Louis, Dana, thanks guys for doing that. So Dana and Louis, I got a sneaky suspicion you guys are gonna be meeting each other here in the next few months. By the way, Louis, Dana drives up to Toronto to go to Strategic Coach. You guys could actually be about an hour away from each other. How about that? So in any case, let me go back here. This is the booklet. Let's go through this, and then I'm going to go back to the checklist, okay? So I'm going to try to keep this methodical and straightforward as I possibly can. I'm going to go through this example here. This is the oldest example we had, which is the one I originally did years ago. Then I'll give you two other examples, one for dentists and one for engineers, okay? So we always start off with this phrase, where the smart money is. You can put another phrase in there, but I had it was, I think Vince, you and I were swapping emails on this. So Vince put in the top of his, where do people invest? I forget the exact the remark you made, Vince, but what I was suggesting was this is, you want to always lead off with the question or something that creates what's called an open loop. So if I would have said, where is the smart money investing today with a question mark, that would clearly be a fully complete statement, a full question. It still would work because subconsciously the reader has to answer that question, okay? But when we start off with this is a unique little trick in the world of marketing, where the smart money is, and stop, okay? It's automatic, subconscious, open loop. And that opens up the subconscious mind for you and I to go in there and do our business, okay? So we're going to close the loop, but before we do, we always give them a photo from the area. And I don't know if Willie's on. Willie, I hope you're on, Willie. Let's see here. Yeah, I think Willie's on. So you want to get a picture that you can legally use, okay? This is really important. I've seen over the years, agents would just grab a picture off the internet and use it. And when you use it in paper form, probably you're fine. Nobody's going to ever know. But when you send this electronically, here's what I'm getting at. If you post this online and it's one of those Getty images and you haven't paid for it, they will fine you. They will. And by the way, the company that finds you happens to be in Toronto. All right. So we've seen this in the past enough times that we have to give you full disclosure here. If you're going to send this booklet electronically or post it online, which we'll talk about in a little bit, you definitely want to buy the photo. Just pay 10 bucks. Another option is this. This is a neat trick. If you want to save the 10 bucks, go to your local county's municipal website or your city's municipal website. They will often have a photo there that they already own, and they make it part of the public domain because that website is part of the public domain. And you can grab one of those photos. But you got to be tricky. You got to look and see if there's any tag on it. If there's a tag on it that says Getty Images or any other company, you better look it up and see if you got to pay for it. Okay, we're already getting some chat questions. Let me just go to the chat box real quick here and keep up with that. So hang on to your seats just a second. Okay, yep, Willie is on. Good to see you, Willie. Oh well, Canadian money fines are okay. You know what's funny is they'll here's the story on that, Dana. They'll first do the nice approach, right? Canadians are known for being polite. Unless you play hockey with us, then we're not so. You think Canadians are polite till you go to a Canadian hockey game, right? Well, in any case, so what they'll do is they know where you are. All right, they track IP addresses. They'll find you. It's just crazy how they do it. And there's a company in LA that will take over if you're in the States. Okay, so in any case, right now though the exchange rate is pretty good. So if you got to pay a fine, maybe pay the Canadians in American dollars, and it'll be a lot less. I think it's $1.45 right now to the American dollar. So in any case, let's go back here. Then you're going to answer the question, and the answer is this: investing in Tampa, Florida, investing in Portland, Maine, wherever you are, investing in Los Angeles. That's what you put there, obviously. I'm going to go through these next few parts here pretty quickly because many of you have already seen this. Then you give your broker's name. That's my old brokerage before I merged with KW over 8 years ago. Your contact information, real simple, right? Add name, email, phone number. You don't have to put address on this part. That'll come later. Then you give them this letter, the introductory letter, okay? Now, I'll be the first to admit, by today's standards, this is too long, guys. It should be much shorter, maybe about the size of the middle paragraph at best. And many of you are going to get this and you're going to say, okay, well, what do I put in here? Because this is Gary, this is about you. You can copy much of this verbatim. When it comes to anything personal about me, make it personal about you, okay? Now, that's one thing. The other thing I want to tell you is I'm going to kind of contradict myself here, is to try very hard to not talk about yourself. Make it something that their reader's going to be interested in. So, Betty, I don't know if I have yours handy. I might pull up yours, Betty, because what you want to do, guys, is give them information about the area, particularly related to investing, okay? That's the section 2 intro letter. Make it about them. So guys, when I get to this other examples later on, Betty, let me know if I have your permission to bring yours up online, let everybody see what yours looks like. If you could put that in your chat box, Betty, that would be great. I've got 2 others already, but I'll be glad. I'm happy to show yours since it's a recent example. So make this about the reader, okay? That's section 2. Section 3, all right, is you're going to give them an example of an investment, okay? Let me just check the chat box here real quick. Actually, in 1 second, that might be Betty responding. Betty, I changed mine since the first time. You can share, but there's a lot of mistakes. Okay, that's okay. Willie, Bill Gilmore. Okay, Bill, I'm going to check for yours too. That would be great. The more we can share, the better. All right. here's this section 3 is an example of an investment, real life investment from start to finish. And again, I'll repeat this, like I said in class, if you haven't done one, if you haven't bought an investment property or even bought a home yourself, just use my example. It would be great if you had a local example from your area. So Julian, there's another agent in your office named Shanna Ford. She's good, by the way. Matter of fact, you might want to reach out to her. I don't know that she's done the booklet because I haven't personally trained her, but we've worked together. I know how good she is. She's a hard worker and she's aggressive. But I'm willing to bet you she might have an example of an investment that you can use, okay? Let's see. Louis says, other than data, can we add photos and benefits to features? Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So in any case, so back to this. In here, it's just I give them a real life example of an investment, start to finish. So they get the pro forma when I bought it, the pro forma when I sold it, okay? And in the story part, I break it down in the plain language, what that profit looked like. And it really grabs your attention. This, I mean, if you look at the numbers on this one, this was a pretty good deal. Even the guy that bought it from me got a good deal. But in any case, that's section 3. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this part here because you're all going to get this anyways in the email, right? And here's where I talk about, the history and all that kind of stuff. Let's see here. The next section is samples of properties. And it's pretty evident that that's all this is. I just want to emphasize something here. You'll notice in this example, I loaded up with active listings. Turns out that's not the best approach. The best approach is to put in there definitely some active, but put in there some pending, like under contract, and also put in some sold. Right. So for everybody here listening, you can, in these you grab from your data, from your MLS. Okay. And the reason is whenever a consumer gives us the right to market their property and we put it on the MLS, technically speaking, that gets access to all the other agents to share with their clients. Now, the purpose of this booklet is not to sell the properties. That was my mistake early on. I thought the booklet was going to sell properties for me. It's actually not supposed to sell properties. It's supposed to sell you. Okay. So that's why I want to put active, pending, and sold in there, almost like a CMA. Think about a CMA. You're providing samples of properties there, and you're giving it to that CMA to a select group of people. This part of this booklet campaign follows the same legal principle. The intention of the booklet is not to sell properties. So it's not like you're advertising another agent's listings. That's not what we're doing. We're using them as in samples in our marketing campaign. Okay, so that's section 4. All right. Now, section 5, you want to give them a sample of a tool. All right. Let me just go down there the fast way. And I figures that's going to be sideways. Okay, let me just stop here for just a second. Get it in the right view. I'm not going to try to turn this, guys, because we'll be here all night. I'll just keep it the way it is to save us some time. Okay, we got a question here. Jamila, okay, I found that a lot of the properties don't have numbers, at least in Houston area. Yeah, here's what's going to happen, guys. A lot of the agents that don't know really how to work with investors, they're just putting out like a blank listing. They're like saying, duplex, call me. Either they're lazy or their thought is, and I know this is the case because I've interviewed some of these guys, and they would say, well, because if I don't put anything in there, then they got to call me. I'm like, well, yeah, but maybe you don't want all those phone calls. Maybe they're not interested in the property once they see what the numbers are, or worse yet, they're tire kickers, okay? So what I learned to do, if you look at the example I gave you, the ones that were my listings, I loaded them up with data. And here's why. When I did that, okay, when I put my own listings, this is a separate subject here. When I put my listings out on the MLS, I found out if I loaded them full of actual data, I did get fewer calls, but I got better calls, okay? Because I already pre-screened them. I gave them the facts and information as much as I could on the listing up front. So when I got the calls, they already were one step ahead of the game in the buying process. It works like a charm. And believe me, I didn't do that because I was a genius. I did it because I'm an investor. And I thought, I hate it when these agents put out their listings with no data. I want listings with data, right? So if I'm an investor and I'm appealing to investors, why wouldn't I give them what I want as an investor? And by golly, it worked like a charm. So please remember that. Gather as much information as you can. Now, back to the class. What this means is you may have to go back in your sold listings, all right, and go back in time and look for more data. And keep in mind, a lot of agents will do this, particularly on the bigger commercial listings. They won't put all the data in the listing itself, but they'll have an attachment. You know how you can do an attachment to a listing, and they'll put all the data in an attachment like a pro forma. And I would do that too on the bigger properties. I would just simply say, please see attachment for financial data. So Tanya, look for that remark in your area. I mean, I know Ken Wimberly is your OP, and he and I we're on same mastermind group. We go back about 5 years. Good guy, and he can fill you in on what we do on the commercial side. That's one of the things we do. Okay, so in any case, back to this. The tool is simply a spreadsheet that allows you to compare properties side by side. Think of it as like a part of an appraisal. This, the part where they compare properties side by side. The appraiser will give you the comps, 3 to 5 comps. They'll pick one to be the subject property where they do the adjustments on. So we're using the same type format. Or if you look at, how about this? Go to irs.gov, okay, and do a search for the form, Schedule E. That's all it is, Schedule E, okay? It goes along with 1040. It allows you to identify rental income from rental properties, 3 per page, right? 3 columns, and then the rows are all the income and expense, okay? So we're really doing the same kind of thing here. And here's what I really like about this booklet is this particular part here. And by the way, there's lots of tools you can use. This is just one of them, right? So if you go to, you go back out to the membership area. Let me just go there real quick, all right? Go back here. And let's click on cat. So Julie, anybody who's new, this is for you. Let me do a screen share again. Hang on one second. Screen share. All right. And here's all these forms and calculators. You could literally pull one of these off, like the rental profit calculator. That's the Excel spreadsheet, right? You pull that off. Here, just pull that up. Bring it up here. And screen share that. Okay. Whoops, what did I just do there? I gotta re-share. Hang on one second. Okay. Share. Share that. Maybe I'm trying to share too many things. Hang on one second and I'll get back to this. Oh, is that it? Let me go back to the Excel spreadsheet, bring that up. Sorry guys, bear with me just one second. I'll get the share. There it is. Okay, now this is another one. What you could do, guys, as an alternative to one big spreadsheet is fill one of these out, one for each property that you're putting in the booklet, okay? And that worked really well, particularly with like engineers and accountants and financial planners and things like that. They would love this, okay? All right, so now back to the booklet. Let's go here. Do another share again. All right. Share the booklet. Okay. That's section 5. All right. And then section 6 is testimonials. Okay. And then I give them one more call to action at the end. So section 6 is testimonials. I actually had students keep this in there, and they were my testimonials. And that's not going to help you. You got to use your own testimonials. And I give you a real easy, neat trick on how to get testimonials. All right, you can get them from your database. Chances are in your database, you've got family, friends, neighbors, whatever, that do love you. And if you ask them for a testimonial, they will be glad to give you one. It doesn't matter if they ever bought a property with you or not. You just you're looking for them to vouch for your character. So here's the thing about testimonials. People only care about how good you are and how many properties you help people buy and all that kind of stuff. when they actually want to work with you. And the reason they're going to want to work with you is because they feel like they know you, like you, and trust you. That comes from testimonials. Somebody saying, I know Julian, I know Tanya, I know Louie, I know Dana, I know Bill. Great guy, known him for years. He's been a client of mine. Maybe you're sending this to your HVAC contractor, okay? And Bill's a hard worker. He's got this great tool now on investing. I think you guys are going to love this. So you guys put those in the back of your booklet, okay? Now that's section 5. And in the beginning, you only need 1, by the way. Get 1 from your mom. How about that? I suggest you get 3, and I'll talk about how to actually do that in a minute. And then you want to make 1 more appeal, 1 more call to action. We look forward to helping you. Please take the first step, call today. There's no obligations. You could also put in here things like this. I don't have it on this version. Put in there for a free search of homes, okay? And give them your link on your web page. Every one of you has 2 versions of this, okay? You can give them a free search for homes, and you can also say, and if you're looking to sell, or if you want to find out what your property is worth, something like that, do that. Find out what your property would sell for, fill this out, and give them the link for that. And it's the intake form on your website to gather contact information. Those are 2 really good calls to action, okay? So in any case, that's pretty much the booklet. So let's go back to the checklist. Let me close out some of these screens here. I got too many screens going on. Let me go back to the checklist. Let's see, let's see, Julian, how do you pick what actives, pendings, and sold to include, what criteria? So Julian, what you want to do is, like Tanya said, you're really trying to look for ones that have data, number 1, have some input on income expense data, okay? Now, on these solds, those are easy because if they sold, they must have been a pretty good deal, okay? Now, getting more specific than that, if you're looking for particular returns, like a cap rate that's over 10%, every area is different. Like where Chris is out in LA, I mean, he might be looking to have a cap rate 2 or 3% in some areas. Other areas will be a little bit higher. It's just more difficult. If you're in, Louisiana, around Houston cap rates are pretty darn good. They're a lot better than LA. So in any case, look for properties in your area, Tampa, Julian. You should have a pretty easy time finding properties. I mean, there's that's been a hotbed for investing for quite a long time, and we still invest there too. Look for a guy named Chris Dufala. He's in the he's one of the market centers. I think it might be Clearwater. Go into KW.com, look for Chris Dufala. He's an investor, okay? And he's a KW guy, and he's in my mastermind group. And he can maybe give you some samples of his properties. How about that? Let's see. What else? We're getting a lot of chat messages coming in. Hang on 1 second. Augustin's saying, yes, there's an app you can also give your clients. It's absolutely right. Give them an app, the KW app. Let's see. Jamila's asking, can you repeat the call to action and where you put it? Yes, Jamila. So on the last page, let me do screen share, make sure I'm still there. Okay. Jamila, right here where I said, please take the first step and call today, there's no obligations, that's old school. I would actually put in there for a free search of homes and give them your URL. And if it's a really long URL, then go to bit.ly.com and they'll give you a short one for free, okay? bit.ly.com. And then the next statement is this. Say, or if you want to find out what one of your properties would it sell for today, click here and go to that link where you give them the form on your website. They fill in you get the contact information and basic property information. Okay, those go right here. Replace these last 2 statements here. Replace this one here. Please take the first step and call today. Replace that, Jamila, with the 2 statements I just gave you. And then you say there are no obligations, okay? And then your sign off there, okay? always finish everything off with a call to action. Okay. Make some kind of an offer. All right. But later on in the relationship, that's when you ask for the business. Right now, you make an offer or give them a call to action. Okay. All right. So now let me go back to the chats because there were several of them I got to get to. Let's see, chat box. Let me make sure I didn't miss anybody here. Photo benefits, yes. Okay, Louis. Sorry. That was Julian. Okay, here's Louis. All right. Do you snail mail the 40-page booklet to the 300 selected clients? So no, Louis, what I'm doing tonight is I'm instructing everyone to send it to their database electronically as an attachment for right now. Not just because it's free, there's no stamp and envelope, but allows them to shake the tree and get some of the apples will fall to the ground, and those are the ones we're going to scoop up and serve today. And the other ones we'll scoop up and serve them through a nurturing campaign, which I'll go over in a minute. So later on, I would say the newer folks can then use it for a mailing campaign. And by the way, the booklet, I would actually keep it to about 12 to 18 pages, Louis, and everybody listening. The reason is we've tested this over the years, and you'll have fewer respondents the bigger the booklet is. I mean, it's just crazy. You would think it'd be more respondents, but that hasn't been our case. I think people are just in a hurry. So the trick is give them the front end and the back end. In the middle where you have the example properties. So Julian, this is for you or for everybody. Give them only 2 actives, only 2 solds, and only 2 pendings. Number one, you don't have to search for as many properties. Number 2 is you're more likely to look at them all. But boy, like in my example, you see, I gave them like 12 or 15 examples. There's too many. Okay, some people will look at all that, right? Particularly technical people like me or Louis. But most folks are very high D and they're just in a hurry. So you just want to give them the examples. That's what we call that, the example section. So excellent question, Louis. Thank you very much. Okay, so we did the call to action. Let's see, or do we do a special page on our website? Yes. So let me go ahead and give you some other ideas here, guys. I'll get back to the checklist in a second. We just talked about sending this to your database, right? Via email as an attachment. Now, in that email, here's what you want to say. Very short and simple. Say, you know, I've been thinking about you recently, and it's in your emails should all be name specific, okay? I know Command has changed things for us, but many of you are interfacing Command with other systems, which you should, to do your marketing, and then you can do what's called sort merge, which means the system grabs the individual names and addresses, okay? So it looks like it's individualized. Now, back to this. You want to say, I'm training to be a certified investor agent. I'm creating this booklet that I'm attaching here for other investors, people just like you, right? Have you ever thought about buying a rental or flipping a home? Okay, that's the first question. So remember, questions create an open loop, right? Now that's a yes or no question. Here's the next one. Then you're going to say right after that, literally right after that, next statement is this. Would you please give me your opinion of this booklet? Or would you please provide your feedback on this booklet? And that's really about it, guys. I mean, as short and sweet as you could possibly get it. Remember, people are busy. Don't give them too many things to think about. But whenever you follow one question with another question, okay, that's easy to say yes to, they'll often subconsciously apply that yes to the second question to mean and apply they're also saying yes to the first question. This is all psychology and it's just the way the subconscious mind works. So I forget the term for it. If I could remember, I'd tell you, but it's in some of the psychology books I've read. In any case, what I'm getting at is ask them a question that you want them to say yes to, but knowing that some people won't say yes, you follow it up directly with another question that people that know you like you and trust you will want to say yes to, which is you're soliciting them for help. You're asking them to give you an opinion of your booklet. Okay, does that make sense? And then subconsciously, again, the yes to the second question is because they want to reciprocate, and you gave them a booklet, they want to return the favor and give you their opinion. And subconsciously, they've also to a degree, said yes to the first question, which is, hey, have you ever thought about flipping a home or buying a rental? Okay, so here's what's cool about this. This is what happened to Betty. She got, I think, 15 respondents. 12 of them were putting on a nurturing campaign. All right. So remember, again, not everybody's going to respond, but the ones that will, you want to follow up with. Some will be immediate follow up, and you'll know who they are because they're going to say something like this. They're going to say, "Boy, Tanya, I didn't realize you did this too. I thought you just helped people buy and sell their own homes. I didn't know you worked with investors also. And I do invest, or I've been wanting to invest. I know now is an awesome time because of what's happening in the market. How do we get started? What do we do?" They're actually telling you right away they're ready, willing, and able now. Okay, you still got to screen them, all right? But those are the people you respond to right away, right? Follow up with an email and say this. Say, would you mind if I called you tomorrow at such and such a time, or tonight at such and such a time? Or better yet, say this. I'd like to call you later today. I've got some time. What times today, put time in an S in parentheses, are good for you? Okay, and then you call them or respond and say, okay, I'll call you at 7:50 p.m., something like that. All right, and then you got to go through all the information in chapter 2 of your learning modules, right? Chapter 2 is where you got the 12-step process on how to work with the flippers and how to work with the landlords. Quick pause here, guys. The old chapter 1 and the old chapter 2 have now been rewritten, and they're broken up in the more specific detailed modules. Okay, you're going to see that on your learning management system. So what I just described there is now in the new chapters 5 and 6. Chapter 5 for flippers, chapter 6 for the landlords buying rentals. But that checklist of how you interview somebody, that's where that is. Okay, now the ones that say something, that's the first category. Those are the ready, willing, able, now people. And that's where you're going to get some immediate business from. Now, the second group are the ones who are saying something like, I understand this is a great time to be investing, but I've never invested before. I don't even know where to start. What should I be doing now? Well, those are the ones you want to nurture. So please write that down. The second category are the ready but not now category. And you're going to nurture them, and it won't take long. And I'm going to give you exactly what you need to nurture them. Okay. So in any case, that's the first thing you do with the email campaign. Now, you can also do this, and I want you to please write this down. You can also put this out on Facebook, do a post on Facebook and put this out there as an attachment and do the same exact wording. Give them the photo of the image of your booklet will show up in your recipient's news feed. Okay. But what you do is you do the same questions. Okay. Same exact questions. Would you please give me your feedback? Have you ever thought about flipping a home or buying a rental, that type of thing? Give them the same front end, which is, I thought of you. It's a term of endearment. Okay. And you use the word you, all right off the bat in the first sentence. It helps you get a higher response rate. But what you do there is just, tell people, say, just give me a shout out here on Facebook. Give me a thumbs up, give me a smile, whatever. Or just say yes, type in yes, and then you can follow up with them and set an appointment. Okay. Now, you can also do this on LinkedIn. You could even put a link. So if you put this on your website, which Lou was suggesting, you definitely can and should do that. You should have a separate page on your website that people can go through something like this. So you can make a web page out of this. And then in Twitter, right, you can put in there a quick tweet, say, why is now the best time to be investing in real estate? Click here, all right, give them the link, okay? Or you can say, you can go to Instagram, give them a photo of the booklet that's has embedded in there, my hyperlink back to your web page, okay? You can also do something like this on YouTube. You could do a quick, like a PowerPoint presentation, put your booklet in PowerPoint format. It's easy to do. You can just create a PowerPoint, and each page of your booklet is a separate page on your PowerPoint. Go through that on YouTube, okay, on your computer, going through this on YouTube, and put that out there. any case, there's lots of ways you can get this out to. What I'm trying to show you is hold off on printed mail right now, unless you're in the game and you're a veteran, and you've got some stuff going on. I mean, Louie's been at it for quite a while. You can definitely still do the traditional technique, which is send it through the mail, and it will work. That's how it's originally designed. I just want you to do this right now with your database because it's fast, it's easy, and it doesn't cost you a dime, okay, to do it. Let me check some more chat messages here. Let's see. That's the app from KW. We know that. Okay. Oh, Louis, thank you for suggesting that. You could do a YouTube video. Doug, good to see you, Doug. Do you feel the KW command site is adequate for investors? You're going to get me in trouble, Doug. I tell you what, the reason why this thing always is treated like it's so separate is because it is. This whole methodology and program of working with investors, it was a unique thing that was created almost 6 years ago. And the original intent was just to help us recruit people for KW Commercial. That was the original intent. And we did. In fact, some of the folks in commercial now came out of this program, okay? And there's some really good success stories. Chad here up in Minneapolis, St. Paul, I trained him back 4 years ago. I'll be back up there in June, I think. And he now manages commercial for 4 different market centers, okay? So there you go. But what we figured out was it was better to keep it in the residential world, dealing with folks like you and I working on duplexes and triplexes and fourplexes with most of our clients. Now, I've done a lot of commercial work, big projects, and created REITs and closed-end mutual funds and all kinds of fun stuff. But I started right here in the residential world, duplexes, triplexes, and fourplexes. And what we recognize is it ended up being a very necessary program because, like Doug just pointed out here, traditional learning on the residential side is almost always focused on the residential client. I mean, there's nothing out there in the residential world for working with investors. It just doesn't exist. I mean, we've got the book Flip, the book Hold, and MRAI. Obviously, they're for all agents. But there's not a lot of learning on investing in the residential world. So this is what we have, okay? And this is why we do this. So what I would suggest is, Doug, use KW Command, but make sure you got another tool you're using for communicating. And I'll just tell you, I actually like, as far as contact management, like communicating, I like the old E-Edge better from that perspective. But Command is really good at housing data and segmenting your data and understanding your data. It's a great tool for that. But you have to interface it with Facebook and some other tool like MailChimp, for example. You can use MailChimp to send out your emails, and MailChimp will get the data from Command. That's one example of what you can do. You can use Top Producer. Now, I have all my data from Top Producer for all those years. I accumulated like 70,000 records, 70,000 contacts. But when I started teaching, it just took over. I do referrals. I send you guys referrals, but I don't serve the clients directly anymore. So I kept that. I just saved it and turned off my Top Producer access. But my personal opinion is this: of all the systems I've seen that were designed for realtors, okay, and there's a lot of good ones. If I'm not mentioning one, it's not because I don't like it. I'm just telling you, one of the ones that surfaces to the top over and over again is Top Producer, okay? It's got all the KW marketing campaigns in there. You can do the sort merge. You can send out emails as if they went to each individual person. It's got everything you want, you know? So in any case, so back to this. Julian, I've never seen income expense data on listings. Yeah, if you go to, so what you want to do is when you look, what I would do, Julian, for everybody listening, is on the residential database, you can select by like category or type. So you can select single family home. You can also select 2-unit, 4-unit, things like that, where it says how many units. You can select on anything greater than 1. Then you'll get more of the multi-units like duplexes and triplexes and fourplexes. Anything 5 units and above is going to be, commercial, obviously. But you'll get a higher probability of finding listings that have that financial data in there. Okay, and always be careful to look for, even if they don't put it in the remarks that there's an attachment, look on the attachment field and see if it's highlighted, or I don't know what your MLS is going to look like specifically, but usually they'll tell you if there's an attachment. Click on the attachments and see if the data is not there. We found that in a lot of cases. So in any case, let's see here. Chris Tafala has his own brokers now. Good for him, man. Yeah, he's you can still talk to him. I mean, as far as I know, he's pretty good. I mean, we swap messages every week. I haven't done any transactions with him recently, but he's still pretty active out there. Let's see. Vince is saying, is it better to use off-market properties or MLS properties? So, all right, so Vince, kind of a two-part answer here. When you're doing the booklet, I would only put properties that are on the listing services in the booklet, mainly MLS, because we have the legal right to do that, okay? But now when you're dealing with your clients, a lot of them are going to want off-market deals. Now, my personal opinion is this. I'm a broker, okay? So I'm owner, all that kind of stuff. I would definitely prefer you get the listings for a number of reasons, okay? However, if you want to do off-market deals, it's okay to do that. You just have to make sure you have the right forms filled out and signed ahead of time, agency agreement forms, right, to ensure you're going to get paid. And also, just be aware, you can get very easily stereotyped to be the out-of-pocket guy, which may sound good right now, but down the road, what you'll find, Vince, is some of your investors, when they go to resell years later, they won't use you because they think of you as the out-of-pocket guy. You're the guy bringing in the listings off the market. But when they sell the properties, they sometimes want to put it on the market, particularly like right now, because they know they'll get a lot of people looking at it and maybe potential multiple offers, which drives up the price. So, and I found that myself, by the way. It happened to me. On a number of occasions. And my broker kept telling me, he said, you're doing too many out-of-pocket deals. You're getting stereotyped, just like actors in Hollywood. If all they do was comedy, they're always going to be stereotyped as a comedian. So same thing here. Just bear in mind, sometimes you'll have to do out-of-pocket because the seller is going to say something like, I understand that you want to sell my property. I want to sell it too, but I'm going through X. Maybe they're going through divorce, or maybe they're being audited from the IRS or something like that, and they don't want their information public. The irony is, as soon as they sell it, it's going to be public anyways. Once a deed is recorded, it gets everybody can see it as public data. But in any case, the point is this: is sometimes you have to do out-of-pocket deals. But if you don't have to, I would say put it listed out there, Vincent, on the MLS system. Okay, you get points for it. Everybody's covered by E&O insurance and all that kind of stuff. If you do it outside the system, you just got to be careful, that kind of stuff. So, in any case, Facebook business page. This is from Louis. Absolutely. Just a side note here, real quick, guys. On Facebook, write this down. If you don't already have it, you should have 2 Facebook pages. One personal and one business, and the 2 will interact with each other. Okay, we'll do a whole nother session just on Facebook. I think that's coming up, by the way, in April. I'm going to have Jody come on, and we're going to go over some pretty neat things in Facebook, how you can create lookalike audiences and things like that based on clients you've already served. We'll save that for later, but what the bottom line is for right now, it's easy to do. Just go out there on Facebook. Almost everybody has a personal page. If you don't have a business page yet, you can just Google or type in the help bar setting up business page, and it's really easy. Okay, I did it years ago. If I can do it, you can do it. Okay. Okay, let's see. This is from Jamila. Can you use smart plans for the nurturing that's free? Yeah, I'm going to show you some nurturing here in a second that's more targeted towards investors. Jamila. Now, smart plans, I'm not familiar with it personally. I know the term, I've heard, I know folks are using it. But as far as content goes, you want to give them content that's specifically focused on investing. I'm going to give you that here in about 5 minutes, okay? See, Julian, do you happen to have a YouTube video you personally use for a call to action that we can view as an example? I probably do, Julian. If you go to YouTube and go to myinvestmentservices.com and just subscribe to it. There's over 100 videos out there. You have to look at the playlist first. There's different playlists for different subjects. Like there's a playlist just for flipping, a playlist just for buying rentals, a playlist just for wholesaling, a playlist for you and I, investor agents. Those are all educational. There's no calls to action. It's just us helping you learn more, okay? But if you go to the one where it says like interviews, those are typically recorded podcasts. And whenever I do a podcast, I always give a call to action at the beginning and the end, okay? And also in the YouTube videos in the description, I also give people something to do there. So if you look at, go to any of those playlists, you know, flipping, rentals, wholesaling, investor agent, managing rentals, and not all of them, but some of them, you'll see I'm giving them forms to download, okay, like checklists, spreadsheets, analysis forms, all that. You should be using those. In fact, I'm going to go over that in a minute, to give to your clients, let them download those forms, and then they'll, again, it's a subconscious thing, it's called anchoring. It's going to anchor you to them because you're the one that gave them either directly or indirectly this form, okay? So on YouTube, I do give a lot of stuff away there, but typically checklists, you know, analysis forms, calculators, things like that. Let's see here. I'm going to skip it. We got a lot more chats coming in. Oh, BombBomb. Louis saying BombBomb. Yep, that's historically been a pretty good tool, guys. Let's see. Jamila says you can create campaigns for Facebook in Command too. See, that's a good thing. But one of the things about Command, guys, it does interface with Facebook. Okay. Now, historically, we've measured everything you can possibly measure. It turns out things like the booklet and the letter always give you higher response and conversion rates than Facebook does. Facebook, you can get high engagement rates. Like people will say, yes, I like this, or give you a smiley face or whatever. But if you're not getting a lot of click-throughs, then it's not very effective. So if you want to look at equate a click-through to your website to someone responding to you from a booklet campaign, the booklet campaign response is far more powerful than a link to your website. Does that make sense? And also you have a higher percentage of direct responses from something like a booklet than you ever get click-throughs from a Facebook post. You can just do the measurements and compare and you'll see what I'm talking about. But Facebook is something you should be doing. In fact, I know a lot of agents, that's primarily all they do, okay? Usually in the owner-occupied world. Okay, let's see, this is from Jamila. You can use smart plans. They are customizable like MailChimp. Good, so I'm going to do, Jamila, I'm going to give you the content to put into your smart plans then. So let's do this. I think I'm caught up with the chat messages. So let me go back to the checklist here and do a screen share. Okay, let's see how we're doing now. Hopefully I think we got done most of the checklist. So you decide on your booklet to appeal to flippers or landlords. So your booklet should be, my suggestion is this: you can do a booklet that has flips and rentals in there, but we learned over the years, guys, it's actually better to make it more focused and targeted. So have one set of booklets just on rentals and another set of booklets just on flips, okay? And both sets, by the way, will appeal to the wholesalers. Right now, flippers, so you can read that on your own tomorrow. Oops, sorry, I just went way too fast there. So back up to here, all right? Jamila, I think you brought this up the other day. If you go back to the membership area, so let me go back here, all right? Go back. Here we go. Let me do a screen share and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay. If you look here, when you first log into the membership area, off to the right where it says affiliate program, every one of you right now should be on that. And here's why. All the links that I'm going to give you to give to your clients are also in here. Here's the difference though. If you get the links from in here and they end up taking a training program on flipping, you get credit for it, which means you get money for it, okay? The intent of all this is to give your clients meaningful content for them to learn more about flipping or more about buying rentals. So when you're working with them, they're being trained using the same methodologies that you're being trained to work with them on. That means you've got a stronger, more co-symbiotic relationship. You don't have as many. You ever butt heads with an investor? Okay. Well, that's why. This helps you avoid that headbutting thing and be more co-symbiotic, which means it's win-win. They get money, you get money, everybody wins. Okay. What I'm saying here is this. If you're going to do the effort anyways, you might as well set yourself up. It takes, I don't know, Jamila, how long it took you, but maybe 10 minutes. Grab all those links, give them to your investors, okay? And then you're good. And now they're going to have content. And the more they learn, the more engaged you're going to be, which is the second thing I want to point out here. Let me go back to the checklist, okay? All right, share. Oops. Hey, come on, computer. There we go. Share checklist. In here, all right, you're going to see there's a link for the book, Flipping for Profits Without the Risk. All right, it's loaded with all kinds of good content and spreadsheets and checklists and things like that. Give that to your clients, okay? This is a follow-up. So in the email campaign I just talked about, or Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever you're doing, take care of the low-hanging fruit first. Get them set up with appointments and get them into some transactions, okay? The ones you're going to nurture, remember the second category? This is where this all comes in. One of the things you can do to nurture them is to give them a link for these books. They have to download, and as soon as they do that, they now associate that with you, number one. Number two is getting involved, rolling up their sleeves and reading and learning creates, remember, we're always looking for engagement, action, and commitment, okay? The people you want to work with are going to demonstrate to you all three. Engagement is they're responding to your marketing, right? That's number one. Action is you give them something to do, they actually do it. So you'll know through the nurturing campaign who the action takers are, because they'll be emailing you back, or calling you back saying, thank you for that, you know, give me more, something like that. The third thing is the commitment part, right? And that's where they say, it might be the fourth thing you gave them, it might be the 10th thing. They're going to say, you know what, I think I'm ready to look at some properties now, all right? Well, now you got them, it all happened because you nurtured them, all right? So those are books you can give them. You can also go back to, on the booklet campaign, by the way, sorry, I should have said this earlier. The booklet you're going to send out every month to them, to say the 12 that you're nurturing, okay? You can send it to your whole database again, and you'll shake loose some more people in a second rotation. In fact, I will tell you, this booklet you should be sending to your database every month with brand new sample properties in there. And then ones that say I'm not interested, obviously you turn them off. Not many will, maybe one, right? General rule of thumb is you'll get one that's ready now and one that wants to just go away, okay? And this is a great way to help clean up your database. But in any case, I would send the booklet out every single month. Now, on the people you're nurturing, the ones that are ready but not now, this is the second step of things you want to do. Get them set up and send them these links from the YouTube channel. Let me go back out there and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, YouTube, okay. Whoops, hang on one second. YouTube. All right, so let me show you this. Hang on one second. Share. Okay, so on here, guys, you go to the playlist. All right, this is what I was speaking with Julian about. You'll see all these playlists, interviews, podcasts. There's 11 videos on buying rentals. Should be more than that on managing rentals. I thought there was like 14 or something. 6. There should be more than that on wholesaling too. Here's flipping, 17. Oh, I'm sorry, these two are combined. Rental problems and rental problems go together. It's 15 just on managing rentals. All right. Investor Agent has 12 videos. That's just for you, by the way. Flipping has 17. Buying rentals has 9. Let's see, there's a bunch of others, but let's just click on one. Let's click on the one for flipping. All right. you'll see there's all these videos and they're in a series, literally 1 through 17, right? So here's what I'm going to tell you to do. Every week, you should send out a new email to your data, the 12 people you're nurturing, right? First send in the book, then send out one of these, one a week. You actually may want to do 2 per week for a while. And typically after 6 or 8 or 10 or 12, all of them are going to say something like, okay, well, I feel like I should be looking at this more seriously. What do we do now? That's called a nurturing campaign. So Jamila, if you can put these in smart plans, and they all have their own little links, right? You click on that. You get the link for it right up here. Just plug that in there, okay? But what I don't want you to do is this. Let me go back to the checklist, okay? Do share. Hang on 1 second. I wish I didn't have to keep hitting share. There's one drawback on Zoom. Don't send in the entire playlist. It's going to be tempting to do that. But what happens is now you're going to run short of stuff to give them for the next week, the week after that, the week after that. So if you give them the individual videos, number one, they're going to figure out there's a playlist anyways. But beyond that, it gives you an opportunity to send them something every single week. Does this make sense, guys? What I'm talking about here? You just give me a chat. If you get what I'm saying here, you got your now business and your nurturing business. That's what this part is. You're going to get transactions to feed you now, and through the nurturing, you get nurtured prospects who will feed you tomorrow. That's what this is all about. Okay. Now we're kind of at the end here. We went a little bit over, but that's okay. This subject always generates a lot of chats. It's one of my most favorite ones. We got lots of success with it. So if you guys want to, I think Betty's still on. If you want to ask questions, just let me know. She just did this, and it works right away. It usually works the first time, but keep doing it over and over again. Okay. Let's see, Jamila, can you create a landing page that requires them to register so they are watching? That can be done in Command 2. Yeah, on YouTube, you have people subscribe. In fact, I'm going to tell you this. We're going to do another session. It won't be anytime soon because we got lots of other things to give you during this lockdown period. By the way, next week, guys, write this down. Next week, we're going to do the letter. All right, we're going to do the letter campaign, okay? But I'm going to show you how to do YouTube's, how to set it up, all that stuff. Paul on to walk us through it, and you'll see exactly how to use YouTube. Lots of examples out there. It's actually really easy. Helen's on. Hey, Helen, how you doing? Good to see you. I didn't realize you were on. Let's see. Yeah, Louis. See, Louis, guys, he's a veteran. I love Louis because he will actually take action on everything because he knows. Again, you don't know which pitch you're going to hit. That's why you keep swinging the bat. And this is one really easy way to swing the bat. It doesn't cost you a dime. It gets you engaged. And I'm telling you, don't let fear stop you guys. I know it's easy. There's all that bad news on the television, on the internet. Some of you know this already. I haven't owned a television in 5 years. Okay. If you ever wonder why my mom used to say, she says, you're the happiest person I've ever seen. And I just refuse to watch all that crappy news. They should just say live at 6, more bad news. I'm not saying it's not true. It's true. It is. The news is true, but it doesn't help you take action and get results. And the best way to overcome fear is to have faith and take action. You've got to take action no matter what. Even if you feel down, take action. Because here's the thing, it's going to keep the faith going. And by the way, if you don't have faith, you won't take action. So the two go hand in hand. You got to have faith and take action. And I promise you this, you never know when that home run's going to come. You just don't know it. It happens to me all the time. I tell you, I just know in my life, and this is my 5th recession, okay, that even when I was told, I had a doctor tell me one time, literally, this was in the last recession when I broke my back, he literally said, Mr. Wilson, you have no hope, just like that. And I'm like, I said, I didn't agree with him. I didn't tell him I didn't agree with him because he basically was trying to help me. But I realized I had faith, okay? And usually people would say something like, man, you got like a 1 degree chance of success. And I'd always think to myself, that's pretty good. I got a chance. I'm going to take 100% advantage of that chance, okay? That's just how I live my life, okay? You ask Dana. Dana, if you're still on, tell him. He saw this years ago. We've known each other for a long time, man. And he said one time, he said, you know what, Gary? He said, the reason you succeed so much is you just simply outwork everybody else. And I'm not saying you work your life away, but right now, you're going to have to put in the time, guys. You're going to have to roll up your sleeves and get busy, because the other option is defeat, okay? You're going to succeed if you keep taking action. Dana says, true that. Okay, let's see, back to Chris. Chris says, should we put links to your YouTube videos on our website? Does that defeat the point of, yeah, no, you can do that. We've had lots of agents do that, Chris. You just want to make sure they associate what you're giving them with you. So I would say the answer is yes on a Facebook page, because that's your Facebook page, and they associate them receiving something with you. And chances are they will come back to you, respond to you. And by the way, people have always asked, well, what if they come to you, Gary? You know what? It almost never happens. The way our marketing works is it creates engagement between you and the client, and they'll say, thank you, Chris, for giving me that video. You know, they probably won't even ask who I am, but they'll say, you know, what do we do next, right? It's just the most amazing thing. And I learned this myself from one of my mentors years ago, and I would use his stuff, and turns out it helped me a lot. It's like there's a term for it. I wish I could remember what the term is. Basically, what's happening is when people know you're associated with someone they perceive to be further along than you, like someone that's, you know, advanced status or advanced knowledge, it edifies you. It's the craziest thing, but they think, you know what, Chris Roden is working with this guy. He must really be well connected, know what the heck he's doing. It's just how the brain works, okay? So thanks for bringing it up, Chris. Tanya says, can you quickly tell us what the affiliate program login info is? Oh, let me go back there. Hang on one second, Tanya. Hang on just 1 second. Gotta find that web page again. Okay, hang on 1 second, Tanya. I'll get it for you. Click on that. Okay, so I'm going to share this screen, Tanya. All right. And off to the right where it says affiliate program. Oh, you're asking what the login information is. I'm sorry. It's going to come in your, you know what, if you don't have it, do this. Email support@rewgw.com. Let me just type it in the chat box. Okay. Whoops. Chat. Okay. support@rewgw.com and ask them for your login credentials. Now, having said that, they're going to probably be mad at me for saying that, but the reality is, Tanya, is on your when you got initial instructions early on, you got that welcome letter. Let me go. I'm going to my email and I'll find it for you. How about that? Okay. So let's see. Welcome letter. Hang on to your seats, guys. All right, so Tanya, for everybody here, this is really important. If you haven't done this yet, you want to do this, okay? Let me do share. I know most of you have, because we've already been having strategy calls. You received this early on, Tanya. It's basically step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all that. And here it tells you what's going to happen. You're going to get an email with your login credentials. So that would have been, Tanya, that was way back in September when I was with you out there in Abilene. But look for the email from Jody, and that back then it would have been jody@myinvestmentservices.com. And then you'll get those login credentials, okay? If you can't find that, just go to the email support@rewgw, and you will get that. Tanya says, okay, other info, you're very welcome. Hey guys, I tell you what, I think we beat that horse to death tonight. The main thing is this, is you're going to get calls, okay? And when you get the calls, you got to take action right away and set up that first call with them. All right. Let me see if Betty's still on. Betty's still on. Betty, if you're still awake, I know it's getting late here. Do you want to share with everybody? Like, you know, so people responded to you and you got a hold of them. What, guys, would that help you if Betty shared that with you? Would you guys like to, just for a few minutes? Okay, let's do this. So Belly, I'm gonna allow you to talk. Like I said, Betty, if you have to unmute yourself on your you'll have a bar or command
Yeah.
bar. Oh, there you go. Yay, how you doing, Betty?
Yes.
Good to see you. So let's do this. Let me go to the chat box, and we may have some questions. But guys, if you have questions, I'm going to first let Betty give you her experience with this, and then you can ask questions. How about that? So Betty, let's just start with after you sent the booklet out, give us some of the responses you got. I know one of them was a guy wasn't so nice. Another guy was like, "Hey, let's do this now." Two
Yeah.
others already were
Yeah.
working.
I had like 14 people send back, responded back to me. One was not really, well, he was not very nice, and so he's not on my list anymore. And another one said, okay, that's what I want to do. And so we're taking action. So for his, see how much money he can invest. So, and Gary helped me for a couple of things last time. So, and then thank you, Gary. And another one said, okay, he's in the middle of the divorce, but when it's done, he's really thinking about doing it. So I'm doing the nurture program. So the link, so I didn't do it yet. So I'm going to do it, to start tomorrow. So it's fun. So and then once you do the booklet, then, I mean, you ask a couple of people to just read it over, because the first one I did was a lot of mistakes, like stupid mistakes, but it's better to have somebody else, like my son read it and told me the mistake, another friend read it. So, and then everybody would say, oh, that's a great information, and thank you very much.
Okay. Now, if I can ask you a question. So you sent the booklet out via email, and they responded to you via email. Now, did you email them back at that point, or did you call them back at that point?
Oh, I tried to call, but they didn't respond, so I emailed.
Perfect. Okay, good. So everybody, and once you get to that point, I mean, some of you already know what to do at that point. At that point, you're now in realtor mode, and you've got to go through and do what we call the interview, and it's real easy. Actually, write this down, okay? And I should put this in the I should put this on the learning management system too. Number one is, even if you've known the person for 10 years and you talk to them every single month, always begin every conversation with building rapport, and in this case, rebuilding rapport. Okay? How are the children? You know, do you have toilet paper? You know, something like that. But build rapport. And in this situation, they've responded to your marketing campaign. You want to quickly move into the business things, which is this. I'm going to say, you know, dear, you know, or I'm sorry, not dear, Jane, Bob, this is great. I'm so looking forward to helping you. The way it works with investors is a little bit different than owner occupants, which is this. I'm going to be working with other investors and potentially, you know, realtors and investors. And they're going to want to know that you're qualified before I bring you into the picture. Would you mind telling me, what do you have in savings? So don't ask them how much cash you have. Just ask, what do you have in savings? It's a polite way of checking to see if they actually have some cash. Okay. Now, Helen says Ford, F-O-R-D. We used to say that stood for found on road dead. I like Fords now, by the way. Okay, so back to this. What do you have in savings? Then you're going to ask them, do they know what their credit score is? So don't ask what their credit score is. Ask if they know what their credit score is. And if they do, it tells you two things. Number one is they're up on their credit. And number two is they'll probably tell you what it is. Okay. It's just a polite way, end around way of getting to see what their credit score is. And then ask them if they have an available line of credit. Okay. And the answers tell us a lot. So if someone says, yes, I've got an available line of credit, what that means is some bank thought enough of them to give them a line of credit. Okay. And number two is they have available funds on it, which means they can strike fast. Okay. Well, with those people, they're ready, willing. You've determined timing, motivation, readiness, willingness, and ability. All five. You got yourself a real bona fide a client here. Now, what you want to do then is say, go back to the booklet and say, great, let's look at the booklet again. Tell me which of these properties look really appealing to you. It'll help me determine what I should be looking for. You're getting them to zero laser beam focus on what they want, okay? And you'll know what they have money-wise, credit and cash, to be able to afford, so you'll know if it'll make sense or not, okay? Now, this is a critical part. I'm going way past the time here, guys. I know that, but just bear with me. What you want to do now is say, great, I'm going to have you do me a favor, Jane, Bob, whatever. Please send an email to me recapping our conversation in your own words. And if you guys notice, I do that with you all the time. It's as a trainer-teacher relationship. It helps me keep in sync with you. But also it knows that you're engaged, you're taking action, you're committed. And also it's a refresher for you, reminder of what we talked about. Same thing here. Your client's going to repeat back to you what they heard from their own perspective. Now, when they do that, you've determined the final piece, which is commitment. You've got them. They're action takers, they've engaged with you, and now they're committed, okay? Now is when you can do your agency agreement, okay, and start setting them up on properties or property searches. Now, what I do right now is this. This is a unique environment we're in, is use the letter campaign to get the properties. Now, that we're going to have to hold off because that's an entirely different subject, which we'll do next week. But guys, that's how you do that. When Willie, if you're pretty new, what I just gave you there, that's the exact script you use. Tomorrow, you're going to get this video recording. Just download it, go to the 1 hour, 20-minute mark, and you can replay that if you want. In any case, guys, Betty, thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you, Gary. Thank you. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
I appreciate it. Hey, guys, everybody else, God bless you and your families. Stay safe. You too. What's interesting is every day I can't help but see this stuff on a computer, and sometimes I get like, oh crap, that's bad news. And next thing is something really good news. The main thing is, we can't control the world. We can only control us. Yes. So if you keep taking action, it helps you stay uplifted and positive. And again, some of you strike gold day one, some of you might take a week. We never know. But the point is this: is you've got to keep taking action. And I'm here. I swear, I'll be here, Lord willing, till you're in production. I'm not going anywhere until you start producing. Okay. So let's take advantage of this opportunity we got. It's an awesome opportunity to build our business and grow and serve others, and that's how you succeed. Okay. All right.
Thank you.
I will see you next week. So next week is going to be on the
30th.
30th, on the night of the 30th, same time, same place, and we'll do the letter from start to finish. Okay.
Yes.
All right, guys. Have a wonderful evening. Take care of you and your families, and we'll see you next week.